Thanks for joining us today. In this session, we're going to talk about how to make Excel dashboards work smarter for you, not harder. Our goal is simple: help you spend less time fixing broken spreadsheets and more time building meaningful donor relationships. We'll share practical tips, show you live examples, and even introduce some AI tools that can make your life easier. I'm Jess Roberts, Vice President of Data Analytics at CCS Fundraising. I've been with CCS for over 11 years and bring more than 2 decades of experience in the field. I started my career in the annual fund and then as a frontline fundraiser, so I know the realities of working in spreadsheets, managing donor lists, and the panic that sets in when a formula breaks right before a board meeting. I'm joined by my lifelong friend, Nadia, and also my colleague, who is the Senior Director at CCS Fundraising. She's been in the field for over 13 years and often jokes that Excel was her only colleague for a long time, which is exactly why she's so fluent in it. Between us, we've worked with thousands of organizations and built countless dashboards. Today, we're going to walk you through a practical demo and share tips that will help you feel confident using Excel dashboards, especially if you've ever felt that they were intimidating. And yes, we'll be using Copilot, Microsoft's AI assistant, to show you how it can make your life easier. Think of it as your new Excel savvy coworker who never takes lunch breaks. Before going into our presentation, I wanted to share a bit about CCS Fundraising. A snapshot from 2025, we supported 350 fundraising campaigns, driving significant philanthropic growth. We managed $26 billion in total campaign goals. We delivered over 300 feasibility and planning studies. We provided over 120 executive consultations and other services. CCS is committed to empowering nonprofits with strategy, execution, and measurable results. Now that we've introduced ourselves, Nadia will take it from here and walk through what really brings us here today. Thanks, Nadia.
Thanks, Jess. Before diving into the dashboards, let's start with the basics. What is the goal of your dashboard? Every dashboard should be answering specific questions for you, like how are prospects moving through the pipeline? Or what's our weekly progress? If you don't know those questions, take a step back and think about what your goal might be, because you should be looking for specific information. Otherwise, you're inundated with too much data and you don't know what you need. Once you know that, take your time to review the sheets in your dashboard. Common sheets will be prospects or donors, moves management, weekly progress, maybe a few pivot tables you've created that you've absolutely labeled. Some can be edited and others should be formula driven. If you're unsure of how to navigate your sheet, then Copilot can help. It can even help you identify formulas, and you can ask simple prompts such as which tabs are formula driven or what's the purpose of this sheet, and it'll give you a quick summary. A quick note for our presentation today: the names, the addresses, and all of the sample data in the file that we'll share have been randomly generated, and they're for demonstration purposes and not tied to any actual people. Our Copilot is encrypted. When you're using AI tools like Copilot, be mindful of data security. Avoid entering sensitive or confidential information unless you're using an approved and secure environment that aligns with your organization's privacy and compliance policies. If you're not sure, talk to your IT team or someone in leadership just to confirm, because you don't want to put someone's private information into a non-secure AI tool. Moving on. Your formulas are maximizing your efficiency, but you need to understand how to properly use them. They can look intimidating, but they don't have to be. There are a few tricks to navigating them easily. One is to break them down into parts, which I'll show you soon in a short demo. You highlight, you copy, and you color code the sections so you can identify what each piece does. When you're trying to look at your formula as text, be sure to delete the equal sign. That way you can see the copy there and it's not trying to continually generate the formula. Another tip, which you can use in conjunction with that one, is to trace references. Look at the sheet names and the cell references to understand where the data is coming from and how it flows. And if you're still unsure, which happens, Copilot can act as a translator or whatever AI tool that you use. It'll explain the formulas in plain language so you don't need deep technical knowledge. And now I'll share my screen to walk through some of that. Here is a sample dashboard. We have names, addresses, emails, and groups that people are in. These are all key points of information that we need in order to get a fundamental understanding of our prospects. As I move through the sheets, which you'll see are all labeled, we can check to see which ones are formula driven and which are text. You can see that by looking up here in the text box as well. What you just saw is a quick tip, where if you hold Control and tilde, which you'll find at the top left corner of your keyboard, will allow you to see in a quick snapshot which are formulas and which are text. This is an important distinction because you don't want to break your formulas by typing directly into them. Let's go on over to the Dashboard Notes internal tab here to break down a formula. As you'll note here, with this formula that's text, it's missing the equal sign. So be sure when you're trying to view your formulas as text, go ahead and remove that so that you can highlight the different sections. Here we'll see tracking chart is the name of my sheet, and P is the column that it's pulling from. So if I click on over to tracking chart and move on over to column P, this formula is being triggered by content in the division column. So as you're looking at your formulas, be sure you can assess where the information is coming from. Through the tutorial, we've also discussed the importance of using AI as a tool so that you can have somebody else to help you break down formulas. I often joke, as Jess referenced, that Excel was my only coworker. Copilot has become an additional one. What you'll see here is an output from Copilot when I was asking it to break down this formula. So when you're stuck, you can write a simple prompt. Please explain this formula to me, what makes it work, and what it's doing. You'll see here that it identifies the purpose, it identifies where it's pulling information, and it provides one simple sentence to break it down. Test this out with different simple prompts in order to troubleshoot and understand your formulas. It'll help you with both working more productively and helping you with troubleshooting errors. As we saw, you can start by tracing formulas back to their source sheets to identify where the issue originates. You can check for correct cell references, filled cells, avoid referencing empty cells. For example, when we were looking at division, if there wasn't any information for it to pull from, the formula wouldn't have populated. Or inconsistent formatting. If it was major gift instead of major gifts, just that S can cause your formula not to populate. You'll see error indicators such as reference or value, which always come with a really fun exclamation point to pinpoint formula problems. Common spreadsheet formulas that you'll find are X lookups, which give you flexible lookups across ranges, a VLOOKUP, which is the same but vertical, matches, if error, which uses conditional logic, if this, then that, a sum for a quick total, or concatenate, which will combine text values. You don't have to memorize these. There's a long list. Understanding the fundamental use of it will support you. And you can also ask Copilot, if I'm trying to get this text to do this for a formula, which formula should I use and how would you format it? It'll get you a quick fix. Quick reminder again to toggle Control tilde so you can see all of the formulas at once, allowing you to know when you should put in text and when you should let the formula do its work and maximize your efficiency. And lastly, again, leverage your AI tools like Copilot to get formula suggestions for complex tasks and use it to validate logic and troubleshoot errors faster. Let's talk about locking cells. If you're working on a spreadsheet where you're worried you might make a mistake, or you're sharing it with others, this is a great opportunity for you to protect your data and ensure that no errors are made. Mistakes happen. So how do you lock these columns in Excel? As you can see here, the steps are clearly written out. So select all the cells or hit Control A, format cells, hit protection, and uncheck locked. Then select the columns you want to protect. Click Format Cells and check Locked. Now go to the Review tab and protect the sheet. And if needed, and if you'll remember, go ahead and set a password. Now those columns are locked. And even if someone tries to change it, it won't allow them to. This is a great opportunity to make sure that you don't make an accidental error, somebody else doesn't come in and make an accidental error, and you're able to maintain your data integrity. If you're still confused with these steps, that's okay. Another opportunity to use your AI tool and say, how do I lock columns in Excel? And it'll walk you right through it. Everyone makes mistakes, as we've just discussed. Some are just harder to fix. It's normal to make errors, especially when working in Excel. However, certain mistakes take much longer to correct and may even derail your work at critical moments. So a great step, as we've discussed, is identifying the cells that you should not type into. Before making these changes, just always know which cells are off limits, whether that's labeling them in red, locking them, or labeling your sheet. These are typically cells that contain formulas, references, or structured data that drive your dashboard and your reports. Some best practices to prevent accidents. Don't delete your columns. Deleting columns can break data relationships and calculations. Or don't erase cell contents, which can do the same. If you need to hide something, hide it. That way the data still exists in order for those formulas to generate. Overwriting formulas. Typing over a formula can disrupt the automated calculations. This can cost you time and create errors on other parts of your spreadsheet. And don't break formula strings. A single wrong keystroke can delete critical information, sometimes right before an important presentation. But as long as you took our steps into consideration and you've protected your data, you should be safe. Now I will pass you back over to Jess.
Thanks, Nadia. Let's wrap up the best practices. For clarity, color code your tabs and use meaningful sheet names. Preserve data by hiding instead of deleting, and save weekly versions to protect your work. Automate where you can. Copilot can help create summaries and streamline your dashboard structure, saving you time and reducing errors. Thank you everyone for joining us today. We hope this session helped you feel more confident using Excel dashboards. For more resources or questions, please email us at excel@ccsfundraising.com.